We're going to learn a little bit about some tips on how to get started with this program. If you're already using it, go a little bit deeper. Let's do some intros.
I'm Beth Dwyer. I lead business development for the Creator Program.
I'm Becca Maier. I'm the VP of Commerce at Buzzfeed. I've been at Buzzfeed for 8.5 years and had the pleasure of working with Amazon for 4.5 of them.
I'm going to steal your form. I'm Chris Schenk. I am VP of Commerce at Love to Know Media. I've been heading up the commerce department there for the last 2.5 years and working directly with Amazon the last 2.
So Creator Connections is our two-sided marketplace that connects Amazon sellers and vendors that have products listed on Amazon with some of our creators, such as yourselves. You can opt into campaigns. It's super quick and easy. It's accessible in Associate Central. And you can opt into campaigns to basically earn incremental commissions on top of your established commission rate.
What are some of the other awesome benefits?
The cool part about this is it's kind of a sponsored mechanism, but in a way that the brands can't control the content output. So you get the benefit of earning the incremental commissions from the brands, but they're not necessarily dictating to you what the content output is. So you have the opportunity to slot a product into an existing article, swap it out for another product maybe that you had featured there, do a dedicated piece if that's interested to you, and there's no content approvals on the brand side, so you're not sending it back and doing revisions. The creators are in control, you maintain that editorial autonomy, and there's no sort of concerns there. And I know one of the biggest pain points that we had heard from you guys previously was the lack of ability to sort of filter through the 40 pages of campaigns that exist within Creator Connections. Good problem to have, lots of brands that want to work with creators, but really overwhelming if you're trying to figure out what to select and how to write content and curate those things. We've recently introduced a recommended campaign feature. So when you log into Associate Central, you click on the Creator Connections tab under promotions, you'll land into the Creator Connections experience on a recommended campaigns tab that's powered based on the sales history for your program, for your store ID. So you'll be able to effectively see on that first page products that we think you should promote based on things that your audience have previously bought.
Some of my favorite things are, when you're a publisher, and many of you will know this in the room, there are 1,001 things to go through in terms of tools, in terms of resources, in terms of information. And there's something really simple about Creator Connections, which I think just makes our lives a lot easier. And you were joking about needle in a haystack, but let me tell you, there are so many needles to look for and so many haystacks. So I think being able to have such a fast, easy tool that just integrates into what we're already doing makes a huge difference. But really the biggest thing for us is, we're a tenured business. BuzzFeed has been working with Amazon Associates for many, many years. And trying to find new areas of growth isn't easy. And so I think for us, we're particularly excited about this because it really feels like a new avenue for partnerships, both with the associates teams, but also with the brands that work with Creator Connections, which is great.
It really feels like sort of the acorn that's about to grow into the tree. It's a very nascent platform, but that sort of super ecosystem around associates that it's leaning towards is very exciting.
So essentially what we did with Creator Connections was look at these ASINs that were featured and say to ourselves, okay, let's consider these priority ASINs just like we would any of the other ASINs that we know are our top performers. And once we started to plug that into our list for the editorial team, they were more conscious of those products and much more conscious of the opportunity. We're very lucky at BuzzFeed. I know this is not the same for every publisher, that we have a group of editorial staff who are very revenue focused. And so for them, having that transparency and visibility about what ASINs are going to work well and which ones are going to generate them the most return was really productive and helpful for their workflow, and sort of just went right into our normal workflow of how we prioritize which products we cover and which ones we don't.
Yeah, so let's talk about examples. I'm sure everybody wants to hear a real world example, success story.
So our most successful one to date was the lightest lift of anything we've done. We just went through and noticed a brand called Active, which provides a lot of sort of home cleaning solutions, sets their campaign budgets to about 10 million or 10 billion, whatever I think the max amount of zeros allowed is. We found a perfect swap for something that was doing well in Evergreen, but not particularly earning us necessarily a high commission. Very quickly saw traction with that. I love the reporting is extraordinarily basic, but you get very clear EPCs, so you can see, all right, this thing is really kicking butt. We're going to start putting that elsewhere, put that in some widgets, we'll feature in some newsletters, all that sort of stuff, and really gain some momentum there. Had a great Q4 with that, and that was kind of our entree into taking Creator Connections pretty seriously.
Another misunderstanding maybe that we had at the beginning was that it was sort of like rogue, and they're great brands across Amazon, but brands that you don't normally cover. But then we started to really uncover, there were so many brands that we were already covering, and this just helps us prioritize them more. So Milani Sheets was ours, which
Oh, very nice.
They are
Yeah.
fantastic. I can tell you from personal
I have
experience.
one too.
They're fantastic. Then what was particularly cool was the Milani Sheets rep then reached out to us and was like, we'd love to do more with you. There's a campaign for October Prime Day. Would you accept that? And we were like, yeah, of course. And now we're sort of trying to figure out if there are other ways for us to partner with them, which I think that's like, to your point about the acorn sprouting, that's the part that's cool is we could do a lot with the brands
How
that
did they
exist
reach out
around
to
them.
you?
They reach out to us through Creator Connections, through the messaging portal, which
Very-
we sometimes check. We're total nerds, so, that's why we check
That's
it.
very exciting. I
Yes.
helped build that, so that's
Fantastic
very
work.
cool.
I'll give you a compliment back. Fantastic work.
Can you share a little bit, maybe what's to come?
The future state vision is that Creator Connections is like a true marketplace. So there's different offering types within Creator Connections beyond obviously bonus commissions, which is what we have right now. And whether that's sort of dedicated content from a brand, sponsored content from a brand, collaboration or facilitation between influencers and publishers. We just talked about that in the room. It's come up a lot. That could be cool. So there's a lot of things we're thinking about in terms of opening this up to more ways for you guys to earn. So that's like number one. And then the second piece of it is also thinking through sort of like exclusive opportunities for publishers. So gating campaigns, for example, that are like first look or only available to our publisher partners, and focusing on brands, to Becca's point, that are sort of either household names or familiar to you guys, or you're already driving a ton of sales of, and this will just help accelerate some of those efforts. But I think we're, really just sort of scratching the surface with the current model, and we're excited about all the different ways that we can have brands fund sort of creator experiences and help you guys grow your revenue with Amazon. So